Before we get started, I wanted to let you know that there is a link to this pattern. It is a free pattern from Lion Brand Yarns. Make sure to check it out in the notes below and download that. If you have trouble with reading patterns, throughout this video, you will find that I do post how to read the pattern that I'm saying in the cards. So you'll notice as cards pop up, what I'm saying is also what I'm typing for you to see. This should help you be able to read what is being said. If you're visual, seeing it helps, of course. If you do prefer to learn the pattern by writing, you'll see it all right there. So the first thing to note about this pattern is that even though it's a written pattern, if you decided you wanted to do something else with the stitch, you could. The only thing you need to remember is that you need to chain in increments of 8 plus 5. The first step you're going to do is you are going to double crochet into the 5th chain from the hook. Now I like to go into the actual chain part of the chain, not the braid, so this is what it looks like on my crochet style. We're going to go around, yarn over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to insert my hook into the chain, not the braid, the chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. The next step that you're going to do is actually double crochet 5 into the same stitch, but you will skip 2 chains. So 1, 2, double crochet into the 3rd stitch 5 times. This will create the shell. Now the next step is going to be another skip 2 chains. This is where you need to really pay attention to your crochet. We have a chain right there. Once we've stretched, you kind of lose a little bit. Chain right there, chain right there. So skip 2. You're going to go into the 3rd with a single double crochet. This next step you're going to do is called a chain 1, skip 1. So chain, skip, double crochet into the next stitch. And then you're going to continue the same pattern as where you started over here with a skip 2, 5 and 1, skip 2. Let's go ahead and do that. Skip 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're again going to skip 2, 1, 2, double crochet into the 3rd from the shell. Then you're going to skip 1, chain 1, and double crochet into the very last chain. You will end up with a little bit of that curvature because of the shells. It will straighten itself out as you do more rows. For the second row, let's go ahead and chain 3. Yarn over, turn your project,
And this is again my style. If you prefer to do back loop or front loop, you may do so. I like to go through both loops. You will double crochet into the second double crochet. This chain 3 essentially becomes a double crochet and a chain 1. So we're going to do double crochet, then we're skipping that one and double crocheting into the third.
Before we continue with the video, I do want to take a moment and showcase an amazing post that I found on Instagram for this pattern. Hook and Needle Cafe posted this amazing and beautiful picture of their rendition of the Dreamy Lace Baby blanket. It is gorgeous. I love the way that they incorporated stripes into the pattern so you don't have to make it a simple single color blanket. I think this is gorgeous. If you have an Instagram account, make sure you go and check out Hook and Needle Cafe. Just go give them some love. Check out some of their other items that they have. They have some really cute geeky stuff, so make sure you check it out.
I'm going to bring this down and show it a little clearer for you. So this last stitch here, you have the double crochet, skip 1, chain 1, and double crochet. Then you chain 3. Technically 2 of those become a double crochet, and that third chain becomes that skip 1, chain 1. You're going to double crochet into the second double crochet when your project is flipped. From there, you're going to start following the project itself throughout with the 5 in 1. You're going to skip those 2 on the bottom of the shell and 5 into the third double crochet of the shell. This begins the process of creating that beautiful lacy look for 5. Then we're going to skip 2, which is 2 on the shell, 1, 2. We're going to double crochet into the next double crochet. We're going to chain 1. We're going to skip the chain on the last row here and double crochet into the next double crochet. Then you will 5 double crochet into the top of the shell. You will skip 2 and double crochet into the double crochet that is right at the end of the shell. This is where the end gets a little tricky at the first row. You will now chain 1 and double crochet not into the chain that is right next to your double crochet, but the one next to that. So what you should see is a double crochet on the first row. You should see a chain, 2 chains, and then 1 additional chain. Remember, the first chain is going to be that chain that you skip when you're doing the skip 1 between the 2 double crochets. The other 2 chains here are going to be your double crochet, and the third chain is the chain that you do above the skip. So you will now take your hook and go into the third chain of the turn chain. Whether you do both loops, 1 loop, anything like that, you're going to follow the same pattern and double crochet into that. This will create the squaring effect. It will square your base so that you can have the same pattern throughout. This is why you do the extra 5 when you do increments of 8 plus 5. That 5th one becomes your first double crochet that you do, but those 4 that you skipped become a chain, and a double crochet. In the actual pattern itself, you will make this as large as you'd like. However, the Lion Brand pattern does have you chaining an initial 141 stitches, so you will end up with 17 shells in your final product. It also has you continue the pattern throughout for a total of approximately 54 rows. I crochet very tightly, so my rows tend to be squared about 60, depending on how I crochet.
Hey, so while I was editing this video, I realized I left out how to do edging for this particular blanket. The beautiful thing is that I do have plans to do an additional video on edging in general, but this particular pattern does have a special way to edge the blanket. And what you want to do is it's in 2 rounds. The first round is you're going to go and single crochet evenly around everything. I tend to have to plan each blanket's edge because I am a little OCD about how it's edged out. Once you've done that, you are going to do a series of shells, and essentially what you're going to do is single crochet 1, skip 1, 5 double crochet in 1, skip 1, single crochet 1, and so on and so forth. You're going to create these scalloped type edges, and it is going to kind of bunch a little bit, but it's a really beautiful, beautiful edge. There are other types of trims that you can do for the edge, and we are going to have a video on that in the future. If that interests you, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for notifications when that should come out. If there's a pattern that you are needing some help with, please make sure to put it in the comments and maybe send me a link as well so that I know which pattern it is you're looking at specifically, or if there's a particular type of stitch. I want to be able to help you because you are wanting to learn something that is so very dear and so very useful in life. I want to be able to be there for you. If there's something you're needing help with, be sure to put it in the comments. That was the Dreamy Lace Baby Throw by Lion Brand Yarn. For additional patterns, tutorials, and more, make sure that you press the subscribe button. It's probably about right there. It's going to say subscribe, and press that little bell, because if you don't press that bell, you won't be notified of new videos. So make sure you do that. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. Leave a comment below with your favorite blanket pattern. Thanks so much for tuning in, and make sure to keep it crafty.